So let's give the mayor an opportunity to share with you how did they do it, because this was no small feat at all. Mr. Mayor, first, congratulations, and welcome back to Hurley in the Morning.
Thank you, Harry. Always good to be with the mayor in the morning.
So how did you do it? How did this happen?
Well, I have to congratulate City Council because we worked together, realizing that we both had to find cooperative people on the state and federal level, and we needed to work with every one of our department heads in having them look at other cities to find reduced costs. And we had to make some tough decisions about not bringing people back through attrition and then, unfortunately, having to lay off people as well. And we were able to work, with the governor, certainly with, our state senator, with Congressman Lobiondo and Senators Booker and Mendez, and then, on a local basis, both Senator Whalen working with the Senate and Assemblyman Brown and Maggio on the assembly line. But we did it because we looked at other cities in New Jersey and grants and funding sources that they had received from the state and federal government, and we aggressively went after them, and we showed that we were serious about reducing all the costs that we could on a local basis, and that we looked seriously about the new businesses that are here this year opening up and next year that'll pay dividends because they'll become taxpayers in 18 and in 19 and in 20. So it's not just the 2015 budget we're looking at. Obviously, I'm the only mayor that has an emergency manager and a team from Ernst & Young. So I have 5 people that are looking at every job and productivity every day, 8-10 hours a day. Those suggestions and those recommendations are what we're able to put forth. We didn't have to wait for an annual year-end report on what we should do. As they make suggestions, they make sense for Atlantic City. We can provide services, but we can cut costs. We took effect of that. Now, the budget, if you look at it, has $33.5 million that the state has plugged in as redirected casino funding. So that's a very positive for us. It means that it opens up another avenue that up until now we were saying if the governor does nothing and the assembly meets, the bills, the casino bills, go into effect. The governor could veto them, or the governor could line veto them. Well, what no one has said, and I have not said it until it's in our budget, is there was another alternative. There's some funding that goes to the state that the governor has the authority to redirect to Atlantic City. And by approving $33.5 million of that funding on an annual basis, we're allowed to give you a budget that was critical not to include any tax increases. That's where we were going.
Wow.
I understand the tremendous amount of tax increases over the last couple of years. I live in the city. I am a homeowner. I do understand, and I understand how tough it is for people who have lost their jobs and that are on fixed incomes. So we had to balance this services and not have a tax increase. And it's just a very cooperative effort in order to do that and in order to prepare ourselves for 2016, 17, and 18. So, Harry, on the federal level, you have the $21 million a year from the SAFER grant, so it shouldn't be misled. It's not just for 15. We got extended for 16 and 17 as well. That's paying for 85 firefighters that we would have had to lay off if we didn't have that funding. And then, of course, it's the $38 million through the Transitional Aid, Essential Services, and ComTrip that the city received. All of the paving that you see in the city, it's obviously coming from. It's not coming from city budget, by the way. It's coming from Department of Transportation of the state, or CRDA, or a federal grant, or the work that the South Jersey Gas Company is doing and having to repair roads, because City Council passed an ordinance that says if you rip up our roads, you got to completely repave them, curb to curb and street to street. So all of this is how we get there this year. Now we're working on 16, 17, 18.
Mayor, let me ask you this. Now that you did it, and when I say you, I'm talking about you and all the working partners that you mentioned in a collegial manner. 9 months ago, you were staring at a $101 million structural imbalance, a $101 million deficit. Fast forward now 9 months, and now you have a budget with all the partners that you mentioned contributing that brings in a 0% municipal tax increase budget. Did you believe that you could get to zero?
Oh, I always believe, Harry. I've talked to you in detail now for the last 18 months or so, and you know that I told you every day presents a crisis. And the first week or two, I'm thinking like, it's got to get better. This can't happen every day like this, but it doesn't. You get a crisis, and you just be very calm, and this is how, we move on. This is how we find the solutions. And the $101 million was the same way there. We looked at every possibility, including the B word. That's not off the table. But I think you're going to see cooperation with some of the debt that Atlantic City has, with a much more favorable payout for the city that'll come in the next couple of weeks, as early as the next couple of weeks. It's just, you got to extend your hand, because I realized back in January that even with major cuts, major layoffs, and reductions, we weren't going to balance the budget. And so, that's what all the trips to Trenton and Washington, D.C. is all about, facing people eye to eye and asking for the help. And we did that, and I'm very grateful to everyone. This is a huge team effort. And you're right, Harry. I mean, you had told me that you wished me luck, and you thought that if anyone could do it, I could do it. But I think every other expert, if they smiled to my face, they just said, poor guy, there's no way that he's going to make up $100 million, because no other city in New Jersey has made up that kind of deficit in a single year.